Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to the One Man Podcast with your boy Bob Lewis. Yeah, so what's up? Let's get to it, man. So it's been a crazy few days. Well, if you're talking about the weekend, of course, the weekend performances of the English Premier League teams, of course. I'm talking about the Red Devils, I'm talking about Chelsea, I'm talking about the Manchester Cities of this world. Man, it was a crazy weekend. Damn. And as a Manchester United fan, of course, I'm going to smile. If you can see my face right now, I'm happy, man, for the first time, man. A Manchester United fan, but they can relate to this thing, man. Shit. One terrible result can really mess up your week. I don't know why we let football get to our heads, man. I really don't understand. But it does, man. And what can we do? And sometimes, that result at the weekend is the difference between you having one hell of a week and you having the worst. Okay, I'm not going to say the worst week of your life, but let's just say a week that isn't going to have the best of starts. So let's have a rundown of the things that took place this weekend. Of course, Manchester United started the weekend Premier League games. They were the first. They played Southampton on Saturday, and it seems like the Red Devils have this trend of like whenever they play the first game or whenever they play first, they end up winning. I'm not saying that that's how it has always been happening, but the first game of the season, which is our only other win, we played the first game and Manchester United won. We beat Fulham 1-0. We lost the two games that came after that, but the fourth game of the Premier League season, boom, Southampton. I didn't think we were going to win that game, and that's crazy considering that Southampton are 19th in the league, and it was an away fixture. I mean, in the past, we've seen good Manchester United teams actually struggle to beat Southampton, so that it wasn't looking good, especially after Manchester United gave Southampton that penalty in the beginning of the first half, But Manchester United rallied back and they ended up winning. And I'll tell you why I still have a smile on my face. You see, the games that followed the Manchester United game, I'm talking about the Brentford versus Manchester City, and of course the surprising performance by Liverpool against Nottingham Forest at Anfield. I didn't even bother watching that game, the Liverpool game, because I was like, you can't even hate watch Liverpool, at Safad, we like hate watching, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy this game from a hate watching perspective. But from a footballing perspective, I was like, nah, I'm gonna skip this game. I probably after the Manchester United game, because the Manchester United game was earlier. Liverpool were playing much later at 6, So I decided to watch the Brentford versus Manchester City game, and my was I surprised, man. I don't know if you guys watched that game, the Brentford versus Manchester City game, but damn, that first half, I know Manchester City. I know City scored like 2 goals and that was basically it. That was their comeback, and I know they came back very strong in the second half, especially after they reintroduced Rodri, Bernardo Silva, and they were looking really good in the second half. They were much stronger, but in that first half, my man, I watched Brentford and I was like, damn, I was holding my hands up in the air because I could not believe it. They actually outpossessed Manchester City during the first 30 minutes of the game. I think at some point Brentford actually had more possession of the ball than Manchester City, and they were piercing that Manchester City backline it was magical. Just watching that game, I'm really glad I chose that game instead of the Liverpool game, although Liverpool ended up losing, which was like a very sweet moment for me. Brentford really, if they play like that if they were playing against Manchester United, let me just talk from a Manchester United fans perspective. If they played like that if they had played like that against Manchester United, it would have been very difficult for the Red Devils to win that game. Very insanely difficult. It would have been insanely difficult for them to win that game because, wow, I was impressed by Brentford. I didn't expect much from them because they obviously lost to Liverpool, and I was expecting Manchester City to do their thing, especially at the Etihad. And no, Brentford was the last team to actually beat Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. But wow, that was an amazing performance. Let's go to Liverpool. That was like the surprising performance of the weekend, and it was actually my favorite performance. I'm expecting to see guys from Nottingham Forest feel the team of the week. I don't know if it's the BBC team of the week, the Sky Sport team of the week. I'm expecting to see Nottingham Forest guys be guys like Callum Hudson-Odoi, the Nottingham Forest keeper. Of course, the defenders. I'm expecting to see at least 3 Nottingham Forest players in the Premier League team of the week because that was an amazing performance. I only managed to watch the last few minutes of the game. I was like, damn, Nottingham Forest, hold on, let's hold on for this performance, man. Don't let them get away with this. No, we are not even giving them a point. We are holding these guys. We are taking 3 points at Anfield. And I'll tell you guys something. Nuno Espirito Santos. Mad respect to that guy because that was a good welcome for Ancelotti in the Premier League because I know Brentford was also a huge test for Liverpool because Brentford, they don't care who you are. And if you are not prepared to deal with their physicality, my, you will be in for a long day. But they struggled against Liverpool, and actually I'd say that Liverpool were much more comfortable against Brentford than Manchester City were. And I didn't expect that because Liverpool, during the first half against Ipswich, they didn't have, actually until they scored their goal, they didn't have that much. They didn't seem to be that comfortable. And then after the Manchester United performance, of course, you were like, Liverpool are going to be a problem. They are going to be a serious problem. But who is Nuno Espirito Santos? Who is Nuno Espirito Santos? My man, that guy. I can assure you, prime moves with Raul Jimenez, with Pedro Neto, with guys like, what was his name, Johnny? Prime moves that was just filled with Portuguese players. The one that reached was it the quarterfinals or semi-finals of the Europa League? That was with Adama Traore. I don't know which possession team you are. I don't know if you are prime Barcelona. I don't know if you are prime Manchester City, which was actually getting dominated a lot of times by Nuno Espirito Santos Wolves. But Nuno Espirito Santos has proven himself to be a bad man, man. At Anfield. And I know that was like their first win in, was it more than 50 years, I suppose, because it's a long time. I didn't expect, I know Jurgen Klopp had a few surprising results at Anfield. The 7-2 loss against Aston Villa during COVID obviously comes to mind, but Klopp didn't just lose any game at Anfield, especially against small teams. And if he did, it wasn't like a record-breaking win like it has been like 70 years before Liverpool lost against Team X. No, it was just a random team coming to Anfield playing, maybe seeming like they get lucky. And then in the 90 or 91st minute, you just knew it was coming. The pressure was always too much. You just knew that it's either Liverpool equalize or they score, or they win the game. They just had this crazy start at Anfield where it was difficult to beat them. But damn, Nuno Espirito Santos really, really surprised me, man. And if he can win at Anfield, then he's going to be a problem at the Etihad, and he will definitely be a problem at Old Trafford. So yeah, I didn't get to watch the Aston Villa game, Aston Villa versus Everton. Everton are I'm shocked by Everton, and I'm also a little bit worried by them because Sean Dyche, as usual, you know him, he's like, you expect him to be extremely defensive. You expect him to have good defense, and normally if a Sean Dyche team scores 2 goals, no, not 2, 1 goal, if a Sean Dyche team scores 1 goal against you, damn, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, but you'll be in for a long night. You don't allow Sean Dyche, and that's the reason why teams rarely allowed Sean Dyche's team to score the first goal. But now his team is scoring 2 goals, and it has happened in consecutive matches. They are not even managing to hold on to the result, maybe get a draw. They are losing. I mean, for the first time, Sean Dyche's team is actually scoring goals, but for the first time, you can actually look at his team and be like, wow, they don't have a good defense. You might argue that Sean Dyche wasn't backed well enough in the transfer market. I mean, who can you say was like a good signing? Their defense has been exposed, and Everton, I know Sean Dyche has these moments whereby he can come back at some point in the season, and his team always, or most of the time, they end up surviving relegation. But during those moments, it was more about his attack not functioning effectively, but teams getting to come back when his team has scored more than 1 goal, not scoring 1 goal, then an equalizer, then they score, then another no, it's 2 goals. Like the Bournemouth performance really shocked me. Like how can a Sean Dyche team concede 3 goals in the 86th minute going, it's mind-boggling, and it's crazy to just think about. Everton, I have nothing against Sean Dyche. I mean, Manchester United always have a good performance against Everton, but something needs to change, or Sean Dyche could once again find himself out of a job right when it looked like Everton were seeming like the perfect fit for him, and a chance for him to bounce back. There's no Premier League without Sean Dyche. Guys just have learned to just accept his brand of football for what it is. Okay, moving on to Chelsea. Chelsea was a shocking display during the first half, if I'm being honest. Bournemouth, of course, there is the penalty which they missed. I don't understand why. The confidence issue. You have signed this new striker who's supposed to replace Dominic Solanke, who used to take penalties. But you sign this new guy and you want him to get confidence to score a new goal. But if I'm not mistaken, even at Porto, I don't think Ivan Nilsson was the main penalty taker. Of course, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not think that he was the main penalty taker even at his previous club. I get his game. I don't think he's the type of striker who was significant or who has particular strengths in this one. He's not like Dominic Solanke, who you always knew had good holder play and extremely dangerous in the box. Not like that. Ivan Nilsson, you can't point out and say, he has extremely good heading, he has nice dribbling, his finishing is great. No, you can't point that out. And even the penalty, you can't just say that he's a good penalty taker because we haven't seen him do that consistently. Although historically, Portuguese players, Brazil players, they are good at taking penalties. I didn't expect that miss, but no, I did somehow expect it to happen because he looked nervous even when going to take that penalty. And I think that missing that penalty kind of took the momentum that Bournemouth had been building, because that penalty came about due to a forced mistake from a Chelsea player. I think it was Wesley Fofana or something. Yeah, and wow, that first half, Bournemouth hit the post. They missed a penalty. They had numerous counter-attacking opportunities, and the more they kept squandering the opportunities, the more I thought that they would get done by, especially when you consider Chelsea's bench. Then they have a crazy strong bench. And we got to see the introduction of Jadon Sancho, who, by the way, ended up being the man of the match. Wow, congratulations to him. I didn't like the way he left Manchester United. I'm not really a fan of Jadon Sancho. And is he going to be a success at Chelsea? Sancho? I think when you look at Chelsea right now, for instance, Enzo Fernandez, who's like, I think their most expensive player, if not one of their most expensive buys of all time, and it's not even in the starting lineup. So if you tell me that Chelsea are going to be playing a starting lineup with Sancho, Madueke, Jackson, Kunku, Joe Felix, it's going to be hard to fit all those pieces of the puzzle together. So if Sancho is going to get a run of games, it's going to probably be from coming, arriving from the bench, coming to like see if he can make a contribution on the pitch. And I saw, yes, he's good in 1-versus-1 situations. He created chances. He has good link up. It's more of what we saw when he went back on loan at Dortmund. But I think what people are expecting from Jadon Sancho, or at least what Manchester United fans were expecting from him, was the very first version of Sancho. The Sancho who like hit 20 assists, 15 goals in a season. That Sancho would like receive a ball from the halfway line, dribble past 2-3 players, score a goal or make an outrageous assist. That is the Sancho that everyone is waiting for, and I don't think we are going to see that Sancho for a while. So while we could expect to see a much more improved version of Jadon Sancho, the competition for players is going to make it extremely hard for him to like stick to a place, because he's not a player who's going to score like 5 goals in a row or in 5 games in a row. I don't expect that from him. I think he's still far from getting to that level that we expected, that we saw at Dortmund during the first years before Manchester United bought him. I think we are far from seeing that level, but all in all, he can improve, but not to the level where Chelsea expect him. Chelsea fans maybe think that he's going to. I don't think he's going to reach there. But the combination play was good, and even the goal that Chelsea scored, I mean, that was poor defense from Bournemouth. It was very, very poor defending, because Chelsea had been doing that move throughout the first half. But it was at that point it was a combination between Nicholas Jackson was the one who was receiving that final pass, that as the free man in the Bournemouth box, but Jackson has incredibly, surprisingly poor finishing at times, because he always missed those chances. And when Nkunku came, I think it was like the second chance of the game, the second chance he got in that situation, and he just passed it. It wasn't even that. It wasn't even a crazy finish. He just passed it It was difficult for him to miss at that range, But all in all, I think it was a nice performance from Chelsea. Just if they had given those opportunities to a team to a stronger team, I'm talking about an Aston Villa, a Newcastle. I'm not even talking about the top 4. An Aston Villa, a Newcastle, a Brighton. Wow, that first half they could have conceded 3-4 goals, because it was a poor first half from them. But kudos, maybe that's their game plan. Maybe they'll be more. Maybe after the Wolves game, Enzo Maresca maybe decided, I'm going to be more pragmatic. I don't want this nonsense. I can't score 6 goals every time. And you saw it against Crystal Palace. They they have this pragmatic style. You know, the manager knows that his team will always score goals. But in that style, I don't think they are still growing. They are still finding their footing. And I think Chelsea, I think they are good. They are good, but that first half performance against Bournemouth are no easy team. If it was Manchester United playing against Bournemouth, I doubt that we would have performed as well as Chelsea did, because Bournemouth are surprisingly good.